Hey, what's up, guys? So I wanted to do a thing, just kind of like how I would ideally start at square one if I was to just go through the fitness, bodybuilding thing again. And luckily, I kind of did a lot of the things right, um, per my age and just a little bit intuitively. I certainly would have made some different changes, but there are some important things to take advantage of. And I'm just going to use myself as an example. So you do have to make adjustments based on your own body and your own age and your own sex. Um, but all that said, I mean, I started just lifting at all when I was 12, and it wasn't very regular or anything. I didn't really start taking my diet very seriously until I was out of college, just because in school, you have uh, so many social pressures, and I always had a fast metabolism and stuff, so I didn't have to worry about really what I ate, and I played tons of sports and was really active, and so fat gain was never an issue. I've just been a mesomorph, so I always didn't have a super hard time putting on muscle nor burning fat, but that's not everybody, and you're gonna have to tweak your goals based on where you are. But all of that said, I mean, I had a lot of mass I did want to put on. Um, I was not like as big as I am now by any means, and I wanted to get bigger. And I wasn't as lean as I am now. I I don't know, probably about like 12% or something like that. Um, I didn't always have a six pack. I was kind of had like visible abs, but that's it. And then I there were points in my life where I did. I was a distance runner, and so I did then, but I was really my skinniest and stuff too. So, um, anyway, if I was starting again, if I was a guy, um, in high school or something, I'd say if you want to get bigger, then you've got to eat more and you've got to train and train heavy. And I would focus on building muscle versus cutting initially, because you have to build up enough that you're kind of satisfied. If you start just contradicting your goals all the time, which is really an easy thing to do, just flip back and forth between bulking and cutting, then you're just going to spin your wheels and go nowhere. So you can't just be ripped and also putting on a lot of size at the same time, especially, naturally. And so I recommend lean bulking. You can only put on so much muscle in a given time anyway, no matter what. And just excessive levels of calories are not necessary. That's just going to result in fat gain. And ultimately, you're going to want to take that off, and it's going to just be really difficult. And you might just go right back to where you started. So the body is very adaptive and intuitive, and you've got to just put on a sustainable amount of muscle at once. If you just balloon up and eat a ton of calories and tons of carbs and put on 20 pounds in a short period of time, you just can't sustain that versus a pound a month if you're starting, or whatever. Just, you get my point. Just slower, steadier gains that your body just becomes familiar with and adapts to. So I would do that, and I would just keep on bulking, lean bulking, for as long as it takes to get to the size you want. And you'll notice that you kind of ultimately plateau off. If you're hitting the gym about every day and you're eating right and everything, in a number of years, the gains are not going to come as quickly as they did in the beginning. And at that point, you can kind of consider, just recomping, detailing yourself a little bit and stripping away a little fat to reveal what you've built. But most people don't have enough muscle to get to a really low body fat percentage without looking like they are coming out of a concentration camp, quite frankly. And then you also see the flip side of everybody that's just getting huge, especially young guys with an ego, and you're getting fat. It doesn't look good. Somebody that's a lot smaller than you and well proportioned and leaner is looking bigger and looking better. And I wouldn't think that that's what you're going for. So that's what I would do. And if you're starting off overweight, then definitely do lose it. Don't keep, digging yourself in deeper. Even if it's clean food, you don't want to be eating in a surplus if you have a lot of fat to lose. So, this is coming from a starting point of like having just kind of visible abs. You should get to that point, I'd say. If you don't have that, lean down to that level. Always kind of see a trace of your abs. And I still go through this too. If I don't have a show or a shoot or anything coming up, then sure, I'd like to add a little bit of size. For me, it's not going to be much ever anymore, but let's say I am trying to lean bulk. I would always still just kind of want to like keep my abs. I wouldn't get over 10% body fat, definitely. But I'm not going to be able to put on muscle if I'm hanging around 5 or whatever. And so, bear that in mind. Anything else? I mean, I didn't know anything about supplementation. I didn't take shakes. I didn't do anything at all until college. And that's okay because it's, food should be your bread and butter anyway. But I didn't know anything about eating until I just was designing my own lifestyle after college and independent and didn't have to worry about parties and being with friends and all that all the time. And studying and pursuing my degree and everything else. And so the sooner you can kind of get your nutrition dialed in, the better. It's never too early to start just eating clean food. Don't have any processed food. Don't have any sugar. Minimize those kind of things. Minimize the alcohol. Taper down the carbs over the course of the day because you're not going to use them. Take the bulk of your food, carbs, protein, around the workouts, bookending the workout. So you can never, and diet is 80% of this. You go in and just kill yourself in the gym, but if you're not getting your nutrition right, it's such a big waste of time. And I know it's more fun to lift than to prep your food and to eat and to make sure you're getting your meals and make sure you're not overeating. It's not as fun at all, and it's a lot more work. But without that, your results, no matter what, even if you're just training perfectly, will be lackluster. And I trained really great. I mean, I don't regret a lot about my training. That was one of those intuitive things I was talking about. I just always progressively overloaded. I lifted a lot for strength in the beginning just because that's what I cared about. And I never injured myself. I wasn't ego lifting, but I was always trying to add to the bar. And then, if you get to a point where it's just a ton of weight, like now, I, incorporate different methods and time under tension and supersets and drop sets and giant sets and that kind of thing. But if I had had my nutrition right earlier, I would have just seen much better progress. Here's another big thing. If you're a guy, obviously right around puberty and really throughout high school, you are just on your own natural testosterone steroid cycle. So you should use that to your advantage. The majority of the food you eat is going to go towards building muscle. And so if you're hitting those years, that's phenomenal. And if you're dieting right during those years, that's phenomenal too. So, take advantage of that and get enough sleep and that kind of thing. And just, I know you have a million other things to do in high school, But if you can be kind of consistent with that, try to eat well. That's great. The better you can do, the better your results will be. I'd say you're gonna have some social meals and stuff, but just try to make them as clean as you can. Try to just opt for the healthier choices, and just measure your progress. And certainly, if you're interested in your physique beyond strength, I never did this. Felt weird about it until I started competing. But take pictures, because they do not lie. And if you can monitor your progress, it's really remarkable. It's from 1 month to the next, if you've been doing it right, the results are, it just speaks for themselves. Pictures worth 1,000 words. So there you have it. I'm sure I left some things out, but please feel free to comment, ask some questions. Happy to answer you.